Hi. Hi, everybody. We're here today for a new episode of Frenchy and Friends, and today we have a special guest. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
My name is Jemiah Baird, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, what you usually do in your life?
Uh, so I'm a spoken word artist, a poet.
Mm-hmm.
I teach writing workshops
Mm-hmm.
all over New York. I do theater, film. Although I fell back from that a bit because I'm a father,
Okay.
husband.
That
So
means, yeah.
yeah, father, a husband, and that's it. And I'm a black man. Like that's it.
Also.
So
And like you say, you're from Brooklyn, right? That means
yeah,
you was born and you did
all
all
my
your life.
life, Flatbush.
You
Yeah,
did Flatbush.
yeah.
Okay, can you explain to us a little bit about your past, like how was school in the past? Because I'm not from here. I mean, like I
Yeah,
don't know how was the system in school. Like,
it's it's crazy because school was. I mean, school was different in the sense that we had a lot of community
mm-hmm,
running home from school to go catch Spider Man
mm-hmm,
or Pokemon and being able to chop it up with your friends the next day. Um, that compared to now, like a lot of that is lost because
mm-hmm.
if you miss an episode or something, you just pull it on your phone.
Fact, fact.
So like the desire to like bond over things that are fleeting,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same anymore. Um, a sense of yeah, and because of that, a sense of unity I feel like is left, which I see often when I teach my workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really it. Teachers still feel like they don't care.
But like, how like you became a teacher? Like, what was the thing in your mind to be like, I want to be a teacher when I'm get older.
It was never that.
I
It
wasn't.
was never that. Yeah, I dabbled with a lot of things. I played piano for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I do theater, film,
Mm-hmm.
poetry. I'm in my fifth grade yearbook
Okay.
for like rank because I was in fifth grade when 9/11 happened,
Mm-hmm.
and so but what made me I think what made me wanna guide people because I don't even
Mm-hmm.
call myself a teacher like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I taught my first poetry workshop, um, the way that we don't know who we are,
Mm-hmm.
it's in all of us, and so our mentors are often what we see on TV. And I think as a whole, like just thinking of myself as a black man now, 33 years old, and going, yo, we're the only people who like really glorify the people on TV.
Fact.
We don't know anybody that's actually trying to make a change. We don't know our black inventors.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that like the three light traffic system you see was invented by a black man.
Wow,
The
I didn't know
elevator
about that.
doors was a black man. The doorknob was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
The automatic gears that every car uses was a black person. Like there's so much things that we don't know because which I've learned because my poetry is rooted in my past
Mm-hmm.
and rooted in the stories of people I've lost, um people that are lost, which
Mm-hmm.
I see when I work with my kids and with my students and even adults. And I think having that moment made me go, this is something that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like starting my own writing workshop, organization, and all that stuff. Um,
Can you tell us a little bit about your poetry? Like, what is because you say your poetry is from your past. You say
yeah, my
like,
my poetry is rooted in my past or in African American history,
mm-hmm.
or like uh,
Like,
uh,
what is the best part of like? How many books do you have so far?
so I haven't written a book yet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I haven't written a book yet. I've I slam. I do slam a lot. I've been at a lot of events. I'm working on my book right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about it. With with my poetry though, or with because your first question was like, what is tell you what is poetry in a sense, and poetry is everything.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that like the way hip hop and rap came about
Mm-hmm.
was a group of poets called the Lost Voices, and they would go in a circle and do poetry about their stories. And if you learn like the history of rap, 50, I think it's 60 years ago now, you would learn that like they were just telling poetic stories about their life. And so every song we listen to is poetry.
Fact.
Every
Especially
every
R&B song.
genre, yeah, every genre of music is poetry. If you see paintings where people are painting things that are, and they're trying to express something through art, that's a version of poetry.
That's sure.
Yeah. So, and poetry's a first form of music.
What is your best
Well,
part?
second form of music.
What is your best part in your poetry? Like, you know, everybody guys on best sentence they like to say, like,
Ooh.
if, you know, try to touch my heart. Something gonna make me cry.
So I got a poem that I never performed.
Okay.
It's called I don't even. Oh, it's called Love Again.
Okay.
And
tell me about it.
It's crazy how that poem came up. I don't have it memorized. So I'm not gonna perform it now. But it's a long poem. But I lost a lot of people. Like I remember 17, three of my friends passed away in a boat accident. I was 19 when my brother and my trainer passed away a month apart. Like my cousin the following year or two, friends. So I lost like a lot of people in a short amount of time. And so I wrote a poem because I remember I was at my grandfather's funeral one day, and I was just like, and somebody was like one of my cousins was crying, and I was just like, yo, he lived a life. That's what's up. And my cousin looked at me. He was like, yo, you're numb to this, right? And I was like, this is the first funeral I've been to, and the person was older than was not 25 and younger. And I'm saying this at 21 years old. And that poem was created because I learned how detached I am from love, or I was from love. And because everyone that I cared about wasn't making it past 25. And it wasn't even nothing crazy like gang violence or nothing like that. It was just car accident, heart attack. Like one of my boys died in his sleep from a heart attack, cancer. One of them was gun violence. But like, and that's the story that a lot of us face. A lot of us are void of I tell my students when I do my poetry work, because getting them vulnerables is often the first mission. Is that vulnerability is a gift that the world tries to take from you. Like you're a girl walking in the street and somebody hollers at you and says something disrespectful, you gotta keep your armor on. If you're a man and you gotta keep a level of armor on, because the world will attack your authenticity. And so that poem, Love Again, is a poem like saying, can I curse?
Yeah, I'm gonna don't worry.
I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna curse. That poem is like saying, yo, forget love. But then it's like at the end I realize how much I'm actually begging for love to show me that it could be something that I could have.
Right.
Yeah, and that poem came from that. So if I was to say like any poem that really hit for me, it's that. But I have poems like, I got one called Shattered Glass. I was doing at a slam, and I won first place at this slam. That poem talks about holding on to things you want so bad to the point where it breaks. And it talks about like people in relationships, how they're like, oh, if I can't see you with no one else but me, and you hold on to them so bad. Or parental love, you protect your kids so bad, you break who they are. You break them, and then the glass is on your hands.
Right.
And the trauma you give to somebody from squeezing onto them so hard and not letting them breathe, they pass it on to someone else. And so we all just become damaged goods, you know. And so my poetry is really rooted in self and knowing who you are, loving who you are. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Like how you feel like about how you say, like how you feeling now, like, to be honest, because I want to ask you that, because usually when you ask somebody like how you feel, they'll be like, yeah, I'm okay. But behind,
behind closed,
behind
yo,
closed door,
man,
like we all know.
that's life, man. Yo, sometimes you just gotta breathe with somebody for 10 seconds. Just be like, "How are you?" And they be like, "No, don't answer yet. Just take a breath
Take your breath.
and be real. How do I feel right now?
Like, be honest. Like,
Yo, I'm. I feel I feel confused. But it's a good confusion. So like, yeah, I remember telling this. I was telling this to my wife. I was like, I have a poem that I'm working on. Yeah, so yeah, I didn't think it was supposed to be like this. One thing that is funny, me and my wife was talking about it. I'm like, I'm gonna throw a little potluck barbecue one of these years, just for Black fathers, like a Black Father's Day, because we go ham for the moms and all that, but like they don't know statistically proven Black fathers that are not assaulted by the government and the circumstances are the most present fathers. They're not they're the most present fathers. And so like F the crap about like we not around or whatever. And like when you learn about how politics work, you learn about how propaganda work, you learn how like until you do your research, you don't know just how much things are like fit the way they're supposed to. You don't know it. You can't, like, there's not a single young Black person that could tell me any history that we have done that is celebrated today. That's not us sacrificing our bodies. I'm talking about being athletes. That talks about like time killing my creativity. And what I learned was that my creativity was rooted in a past that was built off trauma, like gun pulled out on me when I was 13 kind of trauma. And now it's built off of what people inspire me. Like my students are like my biggest inspirations because whatever they come up with, it tells me stories to tell today. And I was just like, I think I'm so confused because I'm not writing about me. I'm not. It's like I feel like I'm not a good enough story to tell anymore. You know, my my just being a husband, being a father of 3 babies. You know, my oldest 4, my youngest 6 months. So it's a lot, and just a joy that having them. Um, it's confused because I didn't think I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm about to go on a tangent real quick. Uh, this happened Monday. I was getting my kids ready for school, my oldest ready for school, and me ready to go out and do my work and stuff. And I had my daughter right next to me. My little one was in her bassinet. She's 6 months, and my son was like in between my legs, and I just teared up. And I was like, "Yo, how can people leave people like these, man? Like they're my love, like they're my joy, they're my hope." And I was just like, "Damn." And I was so confused because everything I knew was like it's supposed to be hard, but I didn't know it was supposed to feel this good. And so that level of confusion is like messing with me. You know what I'm saying? Being musicians, like they got musicians and athletes coming out the woodworks like, yo, I don't even get my money. It'd be people that you don't even see that collect. And they collecting off our bodies. And it's like, we're not loved for our minds. We're not loved for we don't learn our history.
Fact.
And so that's to be a Black father and to know that like I could put my knowledge into that. I'm reading books like The Groundings with my brothers. I'm reading books like I think it's Deconstructing the Mayflower Compact or something like that. I got a list in my phone. I can check it, but yeah.
That's nice. Like, when you was young, you used to grow up with your parents, with both parents?
Nah, so yeah, it's crazy. It was just my mom and my uncle, and yo, let me just say, shout out to my uncle.
Oh yeah, of course.
My Uncle Z, man, that dude saved my life so many times, yo. Grabbing me, telling me, yo, you gotta go boxing. we gotta go. Me and my brother, and just showing me what a man was. Because man, you're gonna get a little flack for this. I'm gonna get a little flack for this. But I firmly believe mothers can't raise men. They'll just raise boys because you're always going to be her baby.
Of course.
She's always going to want to take care of you. When my son falls, I'm making sure his bones are safe, but he got to get up and then come to me, and I hug him and I love him. I don't ever not love him, but I'm not going to run to you. My wife runs to him. No one's going to run to us, but we have a community of people that will support us. And but we got to be willing to get up. We got to be willing to go to them and be like, hey, I just need you. And when I have my poetry shows, I remember the first time I invited only 5 people. And because I was like, no one cares about poetry. I don't hear no one talking about poetry in my life. I don't hear none of that. And then I went back to work. Just when I was at Home Depot, I went back to work and they were like, yo, why you ain't tell me nothing? Yo, why you? And they mad at me. And I'm like, yo, I didn't think you was into this. Like, I don't never see all that. Y'all don't ever talk about it.
I'd be thinking the same way too.
They didn't even care about poetry. They cared about
you.
Me.
Yeah.
And when you love yourself enough to be like, yo, I'm going to put myself forward. The only time you put yourself forward is when it comes to sports, when it comes to music, when it comes to, and I had a student one time that he went from a 70 in a class I was teaching at the school, and we were talking about grades because his grades was pouring. They wanted me to talk to him as a black man, blah, blah, blah. His grades went from a 60, I think it was like a 62 to like he got a test and like he scored like a 77 on his test.
Wow.
And I made the whole class stand up and clap. The whole class. We're not moving. Everybody get up and clap. Because we're going to celebrate the fact that this person went from a 62
a big improvement
to a 77. He don't got to be a 77 to 100. He could have been a 62 to a 67. You showing up now. And we need to celebrate that.
Of course.
We can't just celebrate jump shots and touchdowns. We got to celebrate our brains, because they were just talking about it in the book I'm reading. This book right here, The Grounding with My Brothers, it was just talking about how civilization, the pyramids, again, I just mentioned elevator doors, the gear shift, now comes out like you don't even know the doorknob, the fire extinguisher, the fire escape ladder, the pacemaker that helps people with their hearts. All black people. We gotta be celebrated for more than just our bodies.
That's true.
And I don't even mean in a sexual way. We get sexualized without even it being sex.
All the time.
I'm talking about like, oh, look at how fit this black man is. And even now, so I don't know if you pay attention to certain things, but like when people talk about reproducing with a black man, I'm talking about men, not even the women. We know that the women is bad, but like it's, I want his genes. I want his height.
Yeah.
It's not, I want his power as a person.
I want something.
It's not, I want the way he thinks. It's none of that. Look at how weed is legal and all these smoke shops came up. But when they talk about drugs, they don't talk about the mob. They don't talk about the Russians. They don't talk about none of that. They talk about how they was arresting us for selling weed and all that stuff. But I tell people this, and I think Jay-Z said something similar, like, you take a drug dealer who started his business and rose up and put that into something like stocks and see how we would have been millionaires. And all that. But guess what? We were doing that. But they cut off our ability to access these things, which is what makes stuff like the internet such a threat. Because now I could go on YouTube University and learn how to do something.
Yeah,
I could promote myself. I don't need to go begging on somebody's door who got generational wealth through slavery and all that and be like, hey, please give me an opportunity. You can have 70% of what I make. I just want 30. We don't need that no more. That's what makes Spotify so amazing. That's what makes, you know what I'm saying, YouTube so amazing. Like there's millionaires playing video games on YouTube. Like that's what makes all this amazing is that we don't need. So now you go to a point where you see how our creativity is getting us wealth. That's our brain, not our bodies.
Right.
And you see how we can now showcase our excellence without permission. And that's the biggest threat. That's the biggest threat. And I mean that on some real, that's the biggest threat. It's like, yo, a quick history lesson before I go in, before, we get time for more questions. But we had our own buses. We had our own schools. We had our own principals. We had our own books. We had our own, and I'm gonna say this real quick. I taught at a prison, a writing workshop with juveniles, and that was the greatest library I saw for Black kids.
Wow.
Kobe's book, Barack Obama's book. I met a doctor, Dr. Jamal Joseph, one of the Black Panther 13, is Tupac's godfather.
Wow.
I met him at that prison. He went and spoke to them. They read a book. It's called Panther Baby. Check it out. Check out the Black Panther Party. That's another book that talks about all of our achievements. And that was the greatest library I saw for our history. And it was phenomenal. I'm like, yo, this is books about how when they weren't feeding our kids to go to school, they used to use, so Black people had grocery stores, and they would take food that was about to like get off the shelf, like, we can't sell this chicken no more. And the women would come together and cook and would prepare breakfast and lunch for Black students because the schools weren't feeding them. And the school safety, school guards, the crossing guards, used to be Black people that were protecting students.
Wow.
So free breakfast programs was a Black thing. School safety, crosswalk safety was a Black thing. All of that came from protecting us. And you see it today, but with no acknowledgement of it, of its history. And you don't know it unless you look for it, because you don't learn it in school.
Facts.
Because
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Meant for the school. I tell this to people. Ask me why I don't like teaching for certain organizations. I'm not gonna say the names of it because I still sometimes work with them. But like, it's because it just teaches you to be a cog in their machine.
Yeah, in the system.
Yes. So you never learn, create your own stuff. There's a study that shows how anxiety affects Black people more than other races. The thought of I forgot where the study was from. It's from some university, and the thought of starting your own business hits harder for us than it does for other people. They feel like they can take chances. This is generational. There's another study that said like trauma is in your smell. So like there's like if your mom went through something,
you're gonna go through.
Your kids don't need to go through it to feel that, feel that trauma, to be afraid of that thing, and it doesn't show up in the exact way, but the same symptoms, the same brainwave, it shows up because it's evolution. Your whatever genes you pass on is to make your children better. So if you were getting beat by a lion every single day, your kid don't need to be beat by a lion. Your kid's kid may not be your kid. Your kid's kid don't need to be beat by a lion every day to know that the lion is dangerous, because you already have it in your gene pool to program that. It's evolution.
That's why they say, I don't know if it's true, but that's why they say Black people are enraged all the time because we come from a long generation of slavery, and
Yes and no. I'm gonna challenge you for a bit.
Okay.
I don't like the word rage.
Okay.
I don't like the word rage. Black people have been brought up and surrounded by people that were brought up, surrounded by other people that were brought up in a world where everyone was against them. My mom was born in 1964. My mom, 1964, the same year that rap started, right? Hip hop. And 1967, Detroit had riots. There's a movie about it. Tulsa Massacre in California. Like, the same Dr. Jamal Joseph, he was in first kindergarten. He has a story in his book when he was walking with a white girl, and at kindergarten they told him don't walk with her because they will kill you. And this is people that are alive today. They're like 67, 70 years old. And it's so funny because when I started doing research, and I started doing research at the theater when I was playing. I played this character Lank in Detroit '67 by Dominic Morrisseau, and he has these dreams of during the riots. So you know when you're doing character work, you do your research. You research the time period, what was going on. I played another character called Moses from Passover and did research on the past, and so that's what got me curious about stuff. It was theater. It was the arts. It wasn't math, science, history. It was the arts, which is what this is, the arts, right?
That's true.
And but what I'm saying is that when I started learning stuff, I started looking at old men at the park. So I'll take my kids to the park. There'll be a grandfather taking his granddaughter. And my wife was like always, because we had 3 babies kind of back to back. So she was always pregnantly announced. So I'll be with my kids. I'm with my kid by myself. And like, and let me tell you, man, like I look at old men now and go, I just want to hear your story. Old people, not just men. I would love to hear your story.
Me too. Trust me, sometime in the shop, I'll be asking all men, my different question about relationship, what they think, what is the best way to grow. It's just I want to hear from the experience.
Yes and no. Yeah, that's great. Not even what's the best way to grow relationships. Just tell me your story. What's something you've been through? Because in 1970, I don't remember the exact year. I think it's like 1972, when there was a group of black people that protested and got gunned down. Got gunned down. You got somebody, I forgot his name. I think it might be Fred Hampton, one of the Black Panthers. And I'm forgetting names because I didn't plan for this conversation. So like I didn't go back on my notes.
Of course,
I highlight. See the book I'm reading, I highlight my notes, right? Fred Hampton, I think it was Fred, one of the Panthers. They had they assumed that he had guns in his place and all that, and they shot through the door. He's laying next to his wife, killed him. Wife was safe.
Wow.
But like, and then the argument in the newspaper was it was a gun battle, but studies show and forensics show no bullets were fired the other way. This wasn't 72. This was earlier than that. But I'm getting back to 72. But like in the 70s, they were doing that. Like what you see happening in the news today was like my wife would be like, racism is so crazy now. And I'm like, it wasn't now. It's just everyone has a phone.
It's
so
different.
The power of the internet.
You see it more.
That's all it is. We say, why am I seeing all these kids going missing? Kids were always going missing. This idea that, you know what they tell you? Wait 24 hours before you report a child missing. You don't have to do that. They was telling you that because of the lynching. They was telling you that because it was us. They telling you that because the California. There was all that stuff Trump be saying about all these kidnappers and all that. It's not minorities doing it. Was never them. And you only learn it when you do your research. So now get back to the fair, right? Because that's what we were talking about. The rage, right? These brothers in the 70s, I'm born 91. These brothers in the 70s and the 80s were living a totally different experience. My mother would tell me, don't walk with a big group of friends because you don't want to be stopped by the cops. At 8 years old, 9 years old, because I was walking back from school that age, me and my older brother. Don't walk. No, I'll be in middle school hanging out with me. It was about 5 of my friends. I can name all of them on my hand. Like, it's crazy. And my mom one time was coming out the train station, walking home, and saw us chilling on the corner just laughing. Grabbed me by my ear, pulled me. What you doing outside with all these boys? It wasn't, oh, are you doing something bad? It was nothing like that. I never got into a school fight. I was playing piano. I was scoring good in my classes. Like,
but she's still
I was just hanging out with my friends. But she grew up in a time where you can't, you be picked off. And that made me go, oh, like now I look back at it. Like when I was 28, 29, back then it was just like I couldn't hang out with my friends. Mom, you're a B, mom. And I didn't tell my mom that I was smack. You know, you're thinking, right? Like, oh, I can't do that. But then you start to process it and be like, oh, snap. Yo, these people got stories. These people got stories of a life of survival. So I use this example, especially when we talk about racism, because I have a friend, a black friend, that says black people be racist too.
Of course, yeah.
I don't agree with that.
What?
I'll tell you why, right? Let's use the animal kingdom. So you have a rabbit and you have a wolf, right? The wolf kills the rabbit and eats it, right? Rabbits hate wolves. Is the rabbit racist to wolves? Because they hate wolves. Is the rabbit racist? No. We have stories of lynching. We have stories of being gunned down. We have stories of being pulled over for no reason. We have stories for being stepped on our neck. We have stories of having Skittles in Arizona and being shot while a white boy is holding an AK-47 after a protest and just walking to the cops. We have stories of all that. And because I fear you and I hate you, before what you do to me, I can't be racist. I'm defensive. I'm acknowledging, not racist. Back to the rage thing, like, yeah. I don't like rage because rage is like maybe rage could be a word, but for some reason it's just it makes me feel the same way that like when they try to push like black people on welfare when it's more white people than black people. Like it's same thing that you see. Like, so rage is not it. I think the way media teaches you, media has been the parents for a lot of people. Now lashes and laid on baby hairs is a thing all over because it got hot. The media, the way people dress, sure. All of those creative things that we do changes every 10, 15 years. It changes every 20 years. And like, and I think, yeah, the media really teaches us a lot. So yeah. So I don't know if it's a rage, but yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
Then let me do this, and then I'll probably get into a poem.
I wanted to do.
You want,
You're
yeah,
doing a poem,
we do that.
At least one.
We do that. I'm gonna say this to the camera, man. I'm gonna say this to the camera because I mean it. First of all, I'm gonna say this as a black man first, right? So I'm gonna say, my black people, my black brothers, I love you. I care about you, and you are good enough. And I want to say this to the black fathers and leaders, man. Our importance cannot be diminished to what we bring in when it comes to money. The way we practice our presentation, the way we show up, the way we manage, the way we think, those are all things necessary for us to prosper and grow. As a father, as a husband, I've had to deal with the backlash of my wife sometimes because like getting her comfortable with some of the plans we've had. And I tell you, there's not the studies I've done, the reading the books on finances and black wealth and black excellence and all that. That comes from my desire as a man to be the best father I could be and the best man I could be. And when we want to be the best we could be as black men, we succeed at everything. And so that power needs to be shown to our kids and to the people around us. And so I plead, I beg, and I love, and I celebrate my black men doing their thing. I'm not talking about being rich or being wealthy. I'm just talking about showing up. And if you look at the effects of when we show up, we do change lives. Some for the better, some for worse. But I just want us to focus on the better. And so yeah, that's that. Yeah.
And you have a last poet?
Yeah, I'll get into a poem,
What
man.
is the best one? Tell me the best one.
Oh yeah, I have a best one,
Is
man.
that a best one?
I get into one of them. I'll do my shattered glass one. I'll do my do I have it memorized? I'm pulling out
Okay,
my
okay,
phone.
okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
pulling out my phone for this one because I don't wanna mess up what I'm doing. Yeah. All right, cool. Let me do my shattered glass poem.
All right.
I remember watching an anime, and on this show, a character poses a question. If happiness could be something physical, what would it be? That same person answers with one word: glass. Glass. That explains the cuts that line my palms after squeezing for dear life onto the things that made me happy, even after they shattered. My pride wouldn't allow me to let go of the past memories, ignoring the present pain. Instead, I squeezed tighter.
Mm.
A suffocating grip, destroying both of us in the process, turning our glass hearts into shards of memories that were never meant to be a mosaic of a happy ending. Sacred parts of me escape my palms, becoming the glue that binds these shards and flesh together, slashing at anyone I attempt to hold on to after you. If only I could let go. If only I could let go. If only I could let go. But my ego told me this is a battle I have to win. A battle that was never a battle with you to begin with. A battle that flipped love on the other side of its coin, turning dreams into nightmares, creating creatures that lurk beside me, holding me closely into the future, whispering a melody of their whispers become a melody of corruption, reminding me of the damage I caused at every attempt at happiness. Is this what trauma is? Is this what I am? A trauma filled flesh, zombified and robbed of its freedom, performing deeds I know I'll soon regret, but I can't help myself because the memories of old hold on to my soul like an infant to a mother in hopes to feel what once existed again.
Mm.
But all that exists are these glass filled hands, a constant reminder that I'm not meant to love longly. So I care from a distance in fear of another close embrace, bringing pain to us both. After all, these shards are contagious.
Mm.
Thank you.
No, I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
man.
I like it.
Pass on pain. We pass on trauma
Like, do
sometimes.
do you have like a Spotify and you
Yeah.
put your poison? You can.
So I'm bad. I'm bad with social media. I'm getting on it. I'm practicing. I'm doing my social media diligence. But
Mhm.
I'm on Instagram. What's my Instagram? I don't even know by heart. You see?
I can now add to your Instagram.
Yeah,
I
add
got
me j.miah underscore
you.
BAIRD. I'm posting more of my work.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I'm writing more and I'm building more. And just thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And just one thing, do you have like a last sentence to say to like a motivation sentence to say to the people watching you? Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing I teach my kids, man. I mean, your suit of armor is not made to be permanent. And as you get older and as you progress through life, don't let the world's attack at your authentic self, the world's attack at your vulnerability, stop you from having what you deserve.
mm-hmm.
You can only get what you deserve when you're living in your authenticity. And that stands for relationships. My wife loves that I love anime. She loves that I write. She loves that she you can only get what you deserve when you're living in your truth.
Fact.
So live true to yourself. Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Hey, thank you, man.
Thank you. It was
My
nice.
brother, it's always a pleasure, man.
All right. 5 minutes.